So right now what we have here is the simple calculator which can convert the RGB value to hex format. The hex value, which is the HTML color format. As you can see right here, if I change the values of this RGB colors, we are getting the corresponding value in hex format. So in this video we are gonna build this application. So now here, first thing we are gonna do is just we are gonna create a new project, for which I'm gonna open file, new, and the new project, and then it's going to be empty activity next, and then we are gonna give our project a name, and it's going to be RGB 2 hex, and then hit enter or finish, it doesn't matter, and we are gonna wait for some time. And as you can see now, our new project is getting created. So I think we are gonna wait for some time for the Gradle to be built. And then so here, okay, now our interface is ready. Our workspace is ready, and then right here, first thing we are going to start with this user interface. And now here, as I said, we will be using this constraint layout, and right here, as you can see, we have this text view. And now what I'm going to do, first thing I'm going to do is just I'm going to delete this text view, and after deleting this text view, I'm going to put all the UI components. Actually, depending on your preference, you can kind of write all the components manually, programmatically, but in order to save time, I'm gonna put all the components right here one by one. So first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put this text view, which we will be using in order to show the value of the red color. And then right here after this one, I'm gonna have a zig bar here, which we will be using in order to change the color of the zig bar. And finally, we will color of the in order to change the red color. And after this one, we will be having this text view, and then this is going to be text view to be used in order to show the value of the green color. And finally right here in the widgets, we have this zig bar, another zig bar, and then we will be using this zig bar in order to show the value of the green color. And finally we will be having this text view, and then finally we will be using the third text view in order to show the value of the blue color. And then from the widgets, we will be choosing another zig bar, which we will be using in order to change the value of the blue color. And then right here finally we will be having final text view, which we will be using in order to show the value in the hex format. And now after dropping all the UI elements, I'm gonna select all of them just like doing so, and then here I'm gonna create chain, and it's going to be vertical chain. As you probably know, as I mentioned earlier in the beginning, since we are using constraint layout, right here, as you can see, we have to constrain all of these components both vertically and horizontally. And then, as you can see, all of these components have been constrained vertically, but now I have to constrain them horizontally. So I'm gonna constrain them one by one. And if you want, you can fast forward this video. So I'm gonna constrain all of them one by one. Okay, so right here. And just in the beginning it's going to be a little bit time consuming. Okay, so now as you can see, all of the components have been constrained both vertically as well as horizontally. And now what I'm gonna do is just I'm gonna change the IDs of these components. So first thing, let's say starting off with this text view, and this is going to be txt r, because we will be representing the value of the red color. So here hit enter, and this is going to be zig bar. So this is going to be zig r, because we will be using the zig bar in order to change the value of the red color, and it's going to be txt green, and then hit enter, and this is going to be zig green. So here, and then finally we will be having the third txt view, and this is going to be txt blue. And the next zig bar is gonna get named the next zig bar is gonna get ID of zig blue. So, and finally here we have this final text view, and it's going to be txt result, because we will be printing the result. We will be showing the result in this text view in the hex format. Okay, so we are done with it, and now we have any other remaining stuff which we will be changing programmatically here. That's why. And then let me close this palette, And right here, let's continue. And then here, I'm gonna I'm gonna increase the size of the text view. For this, I'm gonna write txt size, and it's going to be 30sp. And another component, I'm gonna change also text style. So txt style, and it's going to be bold. So right here, and then next stuff we are gonna change is the, I think it's fine. Okay, I'm gonna uh, change this wrap content to match parent, because as you can see, the text is not getting displayed in the middle, and for which we are going to use gravity parameter. So gravity attribute, and then it's going to center. So this snippet of code, this snippet, sorry. So this snippet of code is gonna be the same for all the text views. Let's say this, we have this text view, and then here I am gonna put it right here. So, and then finally, let's say we will be having this text view, and then right here. So, and then after this one, this is gonna be, and then finally, let's hit enter a couple of times. So yep, right here, and then I'm gonna also change this wrap contents to match parent, and then just copy this, and then this is going to be right here, and then okay, so here, right here. Okay, so I don't think we need this bias, so I think it must have been a little bit moved when I was trying to click on it. So here, okay, now we are done with it. Okay, so sorry for the messy coding. And then after this one, we will be I will be removing this text views because I don't need them. These are the initial or default values of the text views, but we will be we will be representing our information. That's why I'm gonna delete this, and then right here the same is gonna apply to this text view. I'm gonna delete this. Okay, so now here we have just successfully deleted the default values of this text view, and then I'm gonna constrain the zig bars. So starting off with zig bar. So here this is the zig bar, and it's not. And I'm gonna change this to match parent, and I'm gonna copy this. The same is gonna be applied to other remaining zig bars as well. So this is gonna be applied. Okay, so right here, and then so here height, I think it's going to be wrap content. Okay, so there must have been some mistake. Okay, then now we are done with it, and now I'm gonna remove all the empty spaces. I'm gonna remove all the empty spaces. As I said, I'm sorry for this messy coding, but I really hope that you're still following. So okay, now we are done with our UI, or maybe we are done with our interface, and we have successfully used, or we have successfully kind of arranged uh, all the UI components in our layout. And now we are gonna move on to the main activity.java file, and right here I'm gonna declare this private. Okay, this is going to be txt. Okay, so txt, not txt view, and then we say txt r, meaning that txt red, and then txt green, and txt blue, and finally we have this txt result, and then finally we have another components which are private, and then we have zig bar. So, and it's going to be zig r, and then we have zig green, and then zig uh it's going to be blue. We have only 3 zig bars, and then after this one I'm gonna declare another 3 variables. So it's going to be a string. Let's say we have this red to store the hex value, of the uh, zig bar, or which we are receiving, and then another stuff is going to be string. We have this green, and we have this another string, and it's going to be blue, and then we will be having string. Okay, so result, and this is gonna be final result. So now we are done with it, and then first thing we're gonna do is just we are gonna initialize all of our components, UI components. Right here we are gonna start off with this all the txt, so the text views. So it's going to be txtr find view find view by id r.id dot, and then it's going to be, as I said, txt r, and then right here, so it's going to be txt green, and then find view by id r.id dot txt green, and then another one is txt blue. So find view.id r.id, and then here we have txt, and it's going to be blue, so right here. And then finally we have this txt result, and then it's going to be find view.id, so here r.id id dot, and then it's going to be txt result. Okay, now finally we are done with it, and then we have three other remaining components, and they are zigbar. So it's going to be zigbar r, and then it's going to be find view.id r.id, and then here we have zigbar.r, and then we have the zigbar, and then this is going to be green because it is RGB in this order, and then it's going to be find view.id find view by id, and then r.id dot, and then zig bar, it's going to be green, and then so finally we have another components, it is blue, and then equal, so find view dot id r dot id dot, and it's going to be blue. Okay, so now we have just successfully initialized all of the UI components, and in order to make sure that we are not having any error, I'm going to run this application. Okay, so we are gonna wait for some time for the Gradle to be run. Okay, so now as you can see, we don't have any initial values. We have three zig bars, and right here, as you can see, since we don't have any default values in our text views, they are not somehow visible. Okay, I'm gonna kind of close this emulator, and then let's continue. So as I mentioned earlier, so whenever you are working with the zigbar returns the value in the range of 100 and 0. But whenever we are changing the value of the colors, we should have a range between the 0 and 255. So in order to carry out simple conversion here, right here, we are gonna write a simple method, and it's going to be private, let's say, and it's gonna return int value, and then we are gonna return maybe it is just the name of the function or name of the method is going to be map, and right here we will be receiving the int value, which we will be getting from the zigbar, which is the current progress of the zigbar. And then first thing we are going to do is just here we are gonna get float value. So let's say it's going to be float number, it's the num stands for number, and then here I'm gonna kind of cast this the int value to float, and after casting I'm gonna carry out a simple operation. So as you probably know, when you are getting the value of between the range in the range of 0 and 100, in order to convert this range to 0 and 255, what I'm gonna do is just I'm gonna multiply this number by 2.55, so it's going to be number, and then we are gonna cast this to float, and then right here I'm gonna, so here let's say it's going to be num, and then multiplied by 2.55, and then right here, and then so after this one, what we are gonna do is we are gonna cast this int value, but before we do that we have to declare another new variable, and it's going to be int result. So it's going to be result equals, so, and it's going to be, as I said, I'm gonna cast this value and then number. So now here we have just successfully converted this this range has been scaled up from 0 to 100 to 0 to 255, and now I'm gonna return this value. As you probably know, here this our function or method is not void, that's why we have to return certain value, and it's going to be result, and we are missing semicolon here. Okay, so now here we are done with our code, and then first thing we are gonna do is just right here we are gonna show the initial value of the zigbar in our text views. For this, what I'm gonna do is just the txt, let's say txt r dot set text, and then right here, as you probably know, so this set text method should receive the string value, but on the other hand, the progress which we are receiving from zigbar is int value. That's why we have to carry out simple uh, conversion. We will be converting int value to string, and right here we will be using our map function, because as I said, this progress which we are receiving from our zigbar is in the range of 100 and 0, 0 and 100, but it should be in the range of 0 and 255. That's why I'm gonna kind of put the value of the zigbar. This map function is not is gonna accept the value of the zigbar, so it's going to be zigbar. Here in our case we are working with the zigbar r, and it's going to be get progress, as you can see. So right here we are getting the progress of the zigbar from the red zigbar, and then we are gonna scale it up to the scale in order to have the value between the range 0 and 255. And then we are gonna convert this int, because as you probably know, here our int method or int function returns int value, and we are gonna change this to string. Okay, so the same is gonna apply to other elements, that other text views. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna copy this line, so by pressing Ctrl plus D, and as you can see, it's going to be green this time, and this is also be green, and this is gonna be blue, and this is also gonna be blue. And then finally, in our txt results, so first thing I'm gonna do is just, now after getting this first values of the zig bars, let's say if let's run this application in order to make sure it's running. So as you can see, the initial values of the zig bars are getting displayed in our text views, and I'm gonna close this, stop the emulator, and then next thing I'm gonna do is just, I'm gonna, as you probably remember, we have just declared three variables right here, four variables, string variables. And then I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna get the initial values of the zig bars, and I'm gonna change them to the hex format, and I'm gonna merge all of those hex formats, and then this merged value is gonna get displayed in our text view, the txt result, as a final result. So here, as I said, it's going to be red equal, and it's going to be, as I said, we are gonna change this integer to hex string. And right here, as I said, we are gonna use again map function, and it's gonna get progress of the zigbar. It's going to be zigbar r dot get progress. So here we have this value. Now here we have the hex value of the single color, and the same is gonna apply to other remaining values as well, remaining colors, and it's going to be, but this time green, and after this time this is going to be blue, and then here, right here, this is going to be green, and then here this is going to be blue, and then Control plus L, just Control Alt plus L in order to format the code. And finally here we have this result, if you remember, and then result equal, and then as you probably know, this hex format starts with this number sign, and then it's going to be plus, this is going to be red, green because it's RGB, blue, and the semicolon. Okay, so finally we are going to set this result. It's going to be txt result dot set text, and it's going to be result. So it's not going to be red, but result. And then let's run our application in order to make sure it is error free. Now, as you can see, we are kind of showing the initial values of our zigbar, as well as this values are changed to the hex format, and this initial hex format as a hex value is getting displayed in our txt view. And then now we are going to continue with our logic. So after this one, we have three zigbar. So first thing I'm gonna do is just I'm gonna get this zigbar dot red, and then we are gonna set on zigbar change listener, new view on zigbar change listener, and then here we will be using only this part. So basically here what we are doing is we will be kind of initially this part will work when the zigbar is changing, meaning that when the value of the zigbar is changing, and when we are changing the value of the zigbar, we will be getting the current progress of our zigbar by this int value right here. And then first I'm gonna do is just, I'm gonna show the value of our zigbar when the value of the color is changed. Maybe let's say value of the red color is changed. So here, let's say take txtr dot set text, and it's going to be, we are going to change this integer to, the int to string, and then we are going to use our map function in order to scale our range up. And now right here, this is gonna accept this progress of, and no, it's not going to accept the progress. Instead, we will be using this int value because as you probably know, we are getting this int progress, and we are scaling this progress up from range 0 100 to 0 to 155. And then I'm gonna copy this, and then I'm gonna write the logic for other remaining zig bars as well, and it's going to be zig bar, let's say it's going to be green, and then dot set on zig bar change listener new, so viewer, and then I'm gonna put it here, but this time it's going to be green. And then I think the remaining part is fine, and then I think I'm gonna use this, so zig bar, it's going to be finally blue dot set on zig bar new, and then right here, and then here we are gonna paste it, but this time it's going to be blue. Control Alt L, and let's run our application in order to check if it's working or not. So here, as you can see, it is working perfectly fine. This is the red color, and then this is the green color, and then here this is the blue color. But unfortunately here we are not sure which is, which zig bar belongs to which color. That's why I'm gonna make simple change right here. So first thing we are gonna do is just, let's say, set text, and then right here I'm gonna do something like this. So here I'm gonna do something like this, and this is going to be R because it's for the R, and then plus. So Control Alt L in order to reformat our code, and then right here it's going to be, let's say here in our case, green, and then something like this. Okay, and this is going to be, let's say, blue. Oh, sorry, it should have been in the quotation mark. So it's blue space, and then right here plus. Okay, so this is done, and then I think here, right here, the same applies as well. So here it's going to be, let's say, R. So something like this, and then plus. And then here I think just copy this and paste it here and change this to green, and also green, and then just copy this, and then right here change it to blue. Yep. So just a second, paste it here, and this is going to be blue, and this is also gonna be blue. Let's run one more time. So okay, so now RGB, we are getting the initial values, and if I change, yeah, I think it's working fine. And how about the other remaining colors? Yes, it's working fine for other colors as well. Okay, now this is but as you can see, while I'm changing the value of these colors, let's say RGB, the value, this final value, which is in the which is the hex format, is not changing. Now we have to carry out simple operations right here. So after getting the, as I said, here we have this int value, which is returned by our zig bar when the progress is changing. So here we have this current value, and then we are gonna apply the same logic here. So here I'm gonna copy this, and then I'm gonna copy this, and I'm gonna paste it here, let's say, and this is going to be, let's say, zig bar R, but we don't need this get progress, because instead of getting this progress, I will be putting the variable I here, because this I is the same with this I right here, because we are getting this value when we change the progress of our zig bar. And then, but on the other hand, the other ones will remain unchanged. And then, so here I think it should something like this, and then I'm going to copy this. So here in our case, this is going to be green, and then paste it here. And then, but here, let's say this is going to be green, let's say, this is going to be green, and then here, but here we have this red, and then it's going to be red. So okay, and then we will be continuing, so we will be pasting it here. Okay, so here we made a critical mistake actually. So here I should have put the code after this text view, because we want the value to be displayed in our text view, and then it's going to be, let's say, this is going to be in our case green, but here in our case it's going to be red. And then after this one, so let's say it's green and it's red, so here we are going to change this green to red. Okay, now it's fine. I'm going to copy this, and then right here after this one we are going to put it here. Okay, so this time it's going to be blue, and then it's going to be right here, so we have green, and then here this is going to change green, and I think it's fine because red red, green green. And now let's run our application one more time. So if I run our application, as you can see the first value is changing, and then if I kinda run, as you can see the second value is getting changed, and if I change the progress of the kinda blue color, as you can see the final one is also changing. So guys, basically this is how you build, this is basically how you write the simple calculator which can convert the RGB color to hex format. So sometimes you may be really in need of this kind of application, so I think this is simple yet useful calculator. So thank you so much for watching. Full code will be provided in the description box below.